and welcome to Judy's Creations in Crochet. Today is August the 10th, 2023, and I am a channel, of course, that is mostly about crochet. I like to show finished objects or works in progress, and I also like to show yarn acquisitions, and those yarn acquisitions are mostly hand-dyed yarn. So if this is something that you enjoy seeing, please stay and see what you think, and hopefully you enjoy the video and you leave me a thumbs up at the end and you consider subscribing. We have lots of interesting things going on here. So today is going to be just a lot of chit chat about various different things and a little bit of catching up on things. So it might just be a little shorter video than usual. We'll see. Anyway, let's start where I like to start, and that is, what am I wearing? Now, I believe I talked about this as a whip last week, and I told you how I was not enjoying working with that yarn because I was using 2 strands, and it has metallic in it. So here is the finished object, and I'm going to take it off to show you because this is a little bit warm for this time of the year, but this is how big it is so that I can wear it as a neck piece. If we take it off, I can show you. Whew, a little bit, I have to admit, it's a little bit scratchy also. So here is the finished item. It is a pattern called Cloisters and Shells by Fiber Spider. I will link the tutorial down below. And I used, from Hobbii, I used Universe. Now, I thought that 1 strand would be too thin to work with, so I used a double strand. Well, I'm here to tell you I won't ever use a double strand again, mostly because the metallic comes separate from the regular strand. Now, I pulled a little bit out so that I could start the 2 together, and you can see it's all one color, and it continued to be all one color for a fair bit of the shawl. Then as we get farther down, for some reason, it's just 1 cake of each, it started changing, and we got, see that? Mixed colors. Even though it was the same all the way down, then it got to be mixed. I think you can see the dull blue mixed in with that bright teal. And then down here, we have the dark teal and the light teal mixed in together. So by the end, the colors were not a match in the balls. So it started out quite vibrant, and then, in my opinion, it got less vibrant and more dull at the bottom because you were getting 2 different colors. Now, I stopped at the end of 2 balls. I had a 3rd ball, and it had been my intention to take from the beginning and the end to keep going, but I was not enjoying this. I'll be perfectly honest. Mostly, it's not a hard pattern, but mostly it seemed that every 2 or 3 rows, I would make a mistake, and it wasn't something you could fudge, and I was tearing it out constantly. Like I said, it wasn't a hard pattern, but I was tearing it out constantly, and I don't know if it's because I was very tired of it after pulling out a few times that I got even more tired of it. And I did not like the weight is actually too, well, for a shawl, in the fall, winter. I guess it's not too heavy, but for around the neck, it was a bit heavy. Um, I don't know what to say other than I wasn't enjoying myself and I just wanted to get done. And I thought, well, it would make a shawl for a tiny person, or it could be worn around the neck. So I will probably put it in the donation box, and hopefully there is somebody small enough that would like to wear it, because I didn't go on and do another ball. Now, here is the weight of a single strand. And I think when I tried this the first time, I wasn't as comfortable with the finer weights. Now I have only one ball of this color. You can see it's a Christmas color. And so I think what I'm going to do is make a Christmas scarf. It's got 500 meters, too much for a cowl, I think. But I will make a scarf out of this that will look Christmassy, and I'll try it with 1 ply and see if I like it any better than I liked with 2 of them. And if I like it, then I have still a cupboard full of all the other colors, and I'll use them single ply. But if I don't enjoy it single ply, I'm going to be getting rid of all the rest. And I have some beautiful, beautiful colors, thinking to make some lovely shawls. But yeah, I hope it feels nicer and works up better with just 1 ply. Maybe my problem was doing 2 when I shouldn't have done 2. We'll see how it goes. I'll let you know. It'll be a while before I get around to this, because I have many other things on the hook, or needing to be on the hook to get done in the next few months. So that's my first finished object this week. And it is very pretty. I will also tell you that when you block, although it seems stretchy, it did not stretch much. And maybe that's because, what's the content in this? I know there's a fair bit of acrylic, I believe. 98% acrylic and 2% polyester, which is the metallic. 98% acrylic, so not good for stretching. Okay, I also have a second finished object, and I was pleased at how fast this went. And it's over here. So I made another shawl. There it is from the front, but it looks better if I show you the back. There we go. And this was, again, a very simple, straightforward. It has a 4-row repeat, all double crochets. 1 row has a front post double crochets. And it is a pattern by Crystal, and I believe it's called, it's either Summer Sunset or Sunset Summer. And she did it bigger, so more color changes in hers, but I felt this was big enough. I'll show you, I used the same as her, but a different color. I used the YarnArt Alpaca. She did a YarnArt Mills End in the Alpaca. And you can see how much I still have left. Probably maybe a couple 100 yards. But you know what? I have a number of these alpaca ones, and I will ball them up and put them all together in something later. You can see it just started getting into the pink at the bottom, so it had very pale pink and white. So I'm sure it will go with something else in the future. And the YarnArt Alpaca, or the mill ends, I know some of you did get the mill ends. It has 20% alpaca and 80% acrylic. I did not block this. I have no intention of blocking it. It wouldn't block any bigger anyway. But this was a joy to work with. and I believe I used a 5 or a 5.5 millimeter hook, and it went very quick. It was very easy. Crystal's patterns generally are pretty easy. I did enjoy making it and having a second finished object this week. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about, and actually I wanted to start out by talking about this, so I will be jumping around. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of chit chat and catching up this week. So I want to talk about last week. I announced that I was destashing and selling mystery boxes. Well, I want to go back to that topic again. I don't think anybody could realize how much destashing and how much yarn I had available for mystery boxes. I probably used just over half of what I had destashed, and I'm sure I sent out at least 6, maybe 7 boxes, and I still have more. It is a bit picked over, but I still have, especially if you like 4-weight yarns, I have quite a bit of 4-weight yarn from Ice Yarn. But I have 3 weights. I have some that, from Hobbii, and I think they classify it as 4-weight, but I would never classify it as 4-weight. But I still have a little bit of cotton. I have some True Boo, New Boo, the boos, all of the bamboos. I have some of that. I have some acrylic. I have, I think I have some of my Angora down there yet, as well as every box got 2 hand-dyed yarns. And I have hand-dyed yarn mostly in fingering, but I am now clearing out another cupboard, and I have hand-dyed in worsted weight. So you can still get a variety of weights, a variety of fiber content, a variety of colors. And as I said last week, and people did, email me. Email is in the description box below. Email me with your name and address and tell me a little bit of what you like, color-wise, weight-wise, that kind of thing, texture, fiber-wise. I think I was able to meet most people's requests, maybe even more than what they thought they were getting. But you have a choice of a $40, a $50, or a $60 box. Now, the problem is I don't have a lot of boxes. The boxes I do have are big. And although I could put it in a bigger box and spread it out and put filler or paper or bubble wrap in it, I don't want to send bigger boxes if I can avoid it, because they do change the shipping. But I didn't have one box that I sent last week that was more than $30. There were a couple at $29, but there was $26, $23, and these are both Canada and the US. So I have to, in the US, stay under 2 kilograms. If I go over 2 kilograms, then I found out it really sends the shipping up almost double. So in order to keep under the 2 kilograms, I then put maybe an extra cake of hand-dyed yarn in it, because it's cheaper than a big bag of it's lighter, I should say. It's lighter than putting in lots of the worsted weight yarn. And it's a better value. The hand-dyed yarns are all $30 or more per cake. There might be a couple in the worsted weight that were a little bit lesser in value. I got 2 of them for the $30, $35, $40 from Knit Crate. So if you are still interested or have been on the fence about deciding to get a mystery box, there is still some yarn there, And there is still some decent selection. And as I said, I will probably go through one or two more buckets that I didn't go through that would add to it if I need to get more. So just wanted you to know you haven't lost out. If you didn't see last week's video, or if you're here for the first time, I give good value in the mystery boxes that I send out. So maybe a few more if you will want them. I will have to go to the grocery store and see if I can find a few more smaller type boxes, or make my own boxes, or maybe just put them in a good size vinyl bag. All right, the next thing I want to move on to talking about is our summer cowl. You know, we are working on the Just Feel Festive shawl, and that cowl ends 2 weeks from now, August the 24th. I've had people putting in their progress in the Ravelry group. I think I saw a couple that were finished. I thought I would bring along my, I finished one that was a scarf version, and now I'm working on the wrap size. I know they call it a shawl. It is not a shawl in the typical thinking of it. There are people that call wraps shawls. To me, a shawl is triangular, or it could be circular, but a shawl is not long rectangle. That's a wrap in my book. So I have gotten this far, which is farther than last time you saw it. I only had this color. Last week when I talked to you about it, you didn't show it to you, but I had started maybe 2 or 3 rows of this color. So now I've finished 4 colors. So this is how it is looking so far, and it is wider. Measured it the other day, and I think it's 19 inches across, or no, it's 19 on the angle, 14 across, because the straight row is wider than the actual width of the scarf. And I have 12 minis to do this, and 12 minis. I think I have enough of the white yarn that I'm putting with it. But if I don't think it's going to be a length, I would want it longer. So it might really need, if you're going by me and using minis, you might want 14 minis, but I won't have enough white yarn to go further than the 12. And I'm just hoping I have enough for the 12. I have a little bit of my cake left. Will it do 2 more? I hope so. So anyway, I just wanted to remind you that the cowl is still ongoing, and you know something, you could start now and get one done in 2 weeks. If you're a crocheter that does a fair bit. And I have decided, oh yeah, we've just come to the end of this one. I have decided that I am going to, after the 24th, next Thursday, I'm going to grab the photos that you've posted there. That's the only place there is to post them, to show me your progress and your completed one. I'm going to grab those pictures, and I'm going to include them the following week on the 31st of August when I do our month end for the monthly cowl. I'm going to put these pictures in as well. I think I'll do these pictures first and let you know, and then I'll stop, and then I'll start again and do the slideshow of the monthly cowl. Now, talking about, I think I'll wait on that. Okay, I just wanted to mention, so that's this week, and I'm going to work a fair bit on this in the next week. I maybe even try to finish it up before next Thursday, and then I know I'll be done for the following week. Next week is the week I'm going to do American dyers. If you remember, I did a whole segment on Canadian dyers in July. So next week is the week that I want to do the same with American dyers. So there won't be any acquisitions to see, because I'm sure when I get out all of the yarn from the American dyers, it'll take a fair bit of time. Now, I will not include EFA yarn in that. I don't want to include big companies. So the other thing I won't include is Jimmy Beam. To me, those are big companies, and they carry, well, EFA only carries their own hand-dyed yarn, but they're big. And Jimmy Beam carries many other different companies. I am just going to show yarn that is hand-dyed by that person who owns that indie dyer business, website, Etsy store, whatever it is. I'm sure I have enough. Although, you know, I don't know if I have more Canadian or more American. We'll see when I dig them all out. I'm going to start digging them out after I finish my video today. So stay tuned for that next week. American hand dyers. And what else do I want to talk about? I'm working on a project, and I finished one project of the designer that I want to feature in September. So let's talk about September for a minute. September's getting really close, and I'm pretty excited about it. For those that have been around since last year, you'll remember that we did a lot of celebrating through the month of September, because for those that are new, September is my podiversary month. For 2 years I've been on YouTube now, and it is also my birthday in September. And so I do it up big. I like to celebrate in a big way. And you know, if I'm lucky, we might just hit 1,000 in September, because I'm at 965. So I see that some of you share my videos. I appreciate that. Do all the sharing you can. I see some of you mention me in Instagram so that I get new viewers. And if we get to 1,000, that'll be a big celebration too. But I'll celebrate 1,000 whenever. If it happens in October or November, that's okay. But if it comes in September, that'll make it for a very, very special month. So what are we going to do in September? Well, you can count on it. Judy's going to have lots of giveaways. If you remember last September, we had lots of giveaways. So you'll want to be here every week in September, because every week there will be a giveaway. The very first week of the month, I am going to do my focus on a designer. And this time it's going to be a lady named Carmen Hefferman, and she has a blog website called Annie's Designs. I did at least one of hers back, I don't know, a year, 2 years ago. She also does a number of one skein designs. That's why I like her. So she does other things that are bigger, shawls and so on. But I always appreciate finding one skein designs, because I don't know if you're like me, but I see a hank of yarn I like, and I buy a single hank. I have tons and tons of single hanks. I'm always afraid to buy more, because I'm thinking, okay, what will I make? Is 2 enough? Do I need 3? If I buy 3, is it too much? Do I only want to make something that needs 1? So my tendency is to buy ones most of the time, unless that yarn speaks to me and says it wants to be something like a shawl that takes 2, or a bigger item that might, like a sweater, which would take 3 or 4, depending. So the first week I am going to feature her designs, and I have one of hers just recently finished and another one in the works that you will see that week. In fact, the one I showed you last week that I'd started with, the mohair, is one of her designs, and I will have it finished by the first week of September. And by the way, thanks for all your comments about the mohair design. And some people have finished things in mohair and told me about it. So I'm going to know more about it when I show you my finished project. All right. What's the next thing we want to talk about? Well, I wanted to show you, just as a bit of an update again, you have seen the August, I gotta put it up here, the August cowl, which was gladiolus. You've seen the inspiration picture and you saw my yarn, and I was a little hesitant about the yarn, but I have since caked it up. That's another thing I got to do in the next couple of weeks. I've since caked it up, and this is how it looks caked up. And when I look at it caked up with a lot of pinks and yellows, that's for sure, you know, I'm going to enjoy that. But it even gives that salmony look. I'm a little more pleased with it looking good in the August cowl. And I have picked out a CJ Brady one skein pattern that I think will look good with all of those colors. Are there enough of them? Anyhow, so that's going to get started, oh, maybe in a week. I have till the end of the month, the 28th, to get it done. So talking about the August cowl brings me to the next thing I want to talk to you about. I'm, at this time of the year, need to give thought to next year. I know you're not thinking about next year yet. Some of us are thinking about Christmas to get ready for that. But I need to plan for next year. And I think, given that the participation in my monthly cowl has been growing, it really grew last month. And I suspect there are more out there that want to join in. So it seems to be popular. It also seems that those that are involved and submit things want to submit monthly because they really enjoy having something as an inspiration, having a purpose in crocheting items. Some of you send them to different cowls. I get the impression, you can correct me in the comments below, please, but I get the impression people generally really like doing the cowl and participating in the cowl. And the rest of you that don't participate seem to really be enjoying watching the slideshow every month. I hope more people would get involved. As many people, somebody asked, is it okay to participate or do you have enough? I will take anybody that wants to participate. If we get up to 50, fine, we get up to 50. However many want to participate is fine with me. So if we are going to do this again next year, that's my first question. Do you want to do this again next year? I have to start preparing now. I have to gather or search for pictures. And I like, before the year starts, to have gone through my stash and found at least yarn that works. I did that last year. I prepared all 12. Now, I changed August. I think I changed one other one. I changed the yarn when I saw something better come along. But I like to kind of prepare and get a project bag for all 12 months, know the picture we're going to use, and have my yarn so that I'm not running every month to figure something out and then get behind the 8 ball and not be prepared. So I like being prepared ahead when I can. So I'd like to know if you'd like to do this again next year. Then, if you do want to do it next year, I have a question for you. I'm not going to do the flower of the month again. We've already done that. I guess I could get a different flower picture. By the way, every month has a second flower, so I guess that's a possibility for another year. But I think we need to move on from flowers next year. And I was trying to decide had a few ideas. I have a calendar right now in my kitchen that I'm using this year that is tropical birds. And they are very colorful, most of them. And we could do tropical birds if you'd like to do that. Or I also have, this is a calendar from last year that I saved. I have what's called songbirds, but they are all very familiar birds. And you can see the pictures are quite colorful. And every month, this is a 365-day calendar. So every month has not only a featured bird for the month, but it has a picture in every day of the month. So I would have lots and lots of choice of birds. Somebody suggested to me do Canadian birds, but a lot of birds in Canada go through the US as well. That's their migration pattern. They're up in Canada or the north in the summer, and then they migrate farther south, sometimes to the southern states, and I think sometimes even farther south. So I thought, well, I'll just call it songbirds or birds. Songbirds are the colorful ones. And I had another suggestion of doing butterflies. Now that would take me more research because I haven't been able to find a really good calendar that has good pictures. I would have to just do an internet search for butterflies. And that's something, butterflies I think needs to wait for another year. But I'd like to hear if you do want to continue doing it next year, and would you like to see tropical birds or the songbirds? And I'd like to hear what you think. I'm pretty sure people will want to continue doing it. And, you know, if you pick one, I can do the other another year. We'll see what people are thinking. And I would like to hear from people who have not submitted. Maybe you have been too busy this year, but maybe, you know, if we pick something you're interested in, you would submit something. So anyway, that's that talked about. So now we're at the point where I like to do acquisitions. And as you know, I told you last week that I should be getting my sock yarn subscription from Arkansas Sock Company, I guess. And I was worried to be here in time. I can't believe it. They sent it to me on Friday, July the 28th, and it arrived last Friday, which was August the 4th. I get it from Arkansas. For those that don't know, I'm in Ontario, Canada, southwestern Ontario near Detroit. And from Arkansas to me, it got here in a week. I don't get yarn from any other company that fast. I order from EFA all the time, and they aren't any farther away. It takes 2 weeks to get theirs. So anyway, let's look at what I got from Arkansas. Now, first of all, we have to look at the inspiration card. The theme this month is sunset on summer. So I just finished my summer sunset shawl. How appropriate. Sunset on summer. Well, you know, it is starting to set. Now, the items that came in it. The first thing is a Turkish cotton beach towel. Quite a good quality beach towel. I don't go to the beach, but you know, it feels Turkish cotton. You may know how that feels. It is very, very wide, but that's because it's a beach towel, so it has to be big enough for somebody to lay on it. And you can see it is very, very long. It's a nice color too. I like the color. I won't be using it as a beach towel. I may put it in my car and have it there in case, you know. I think you could sit on this and have a picnic. It is a sturdy, a very sturdy cotton, heavier than cotton. So that is the other major gift that comes along with the yarn. Every month there is something different. Personally, I always prefer when they put in a mini skein, but they like to feature different businesses. Doesn't say where this one was from. So that's my Turkish beach towel. Maybe someday I'll put it in a giveaway. Then I think things have fallen aside here. Then, as usual, we get some loose leaf tea. So here's some loose leaf tea, but they also send a bag, a throwaway tea bag that you can put it in. And it is Plum Deluxe Tropical Vacation loose leaf tea. I'll probably put that in a giveaway at some point. Then we always get stitch markers. And the first one I think is so cute. It is a flip-flop summary. And it has the lever back, so it can be for knitting or crochet. Looks like that link is a little bit open. I'm going to have to press it closed. And of course, we always get the resin map of Arkansas, shaped like Arkansas. And this is an orangey color, and it will go on my, it's back there behind the cats. It'll go on that. And then finally, we get the yarn. And as you know, I get 2 skeins so that I can do something of a size, and I always get sparkle. I can change it to non-sparkle, but I'm still very happy with getting 2 that are sparkled. And this yarn, remember, it's called Sunset on Summer, and here it is. The yarn is always a 75, 15, 10. That's merino nylon stellina blend. And I have to say that, well, first of all, they are one of my favorite yarns. I'll be showing them next week, and they are #1, I think. This is, of all of the ones I've received, I've been doing it since January. And I have to say, this one is probably my favorite. And I've decided at some point, who knows when, I'm going to find a shawl pattern I really like, and I'm going to make this up into a shawl for myself. That is beautiful. I want something that has no puffs, preferably no posts, although maybe posts, that would show off this beautiful yarn. Can be triangular, or it could be circular. Oh, we got a little bit of yellow in that one. Not much. I just love the purples. It has some blues. You know, blue and purple are my favorite. But it goes into a lovely, lovely pink. It's not bright and harsh. It's a soft pink. And even the orange. I like the orange with it. Never would think to put it with it, but it looks really nice. So I want to make me a shawl. I rarely keep anything that I make shawl-wise, but this one is going to be for me, and I'm glad I have 2 hanks of it. So that's what I got from Arkansas. There, I'll put it up for those that haven't seen it before. Arkansas Sock Society. Yarn Society. Arkansas, can you read it? Arkansas Yarn Sock Yarn Society. Arkansas Sock Yarn Society. This is one of the best subscriptions I've ever had. I love the feel of their yarn. It's a yummy sparkle, although their yummy regular base is equally as soft. Okay. So that comes once a month, and today I got notified that they're ready to renew for next month. So within the next 2 days, they'll be charging me. And I made one other small acquisition I want to tell you about. First of all, it's from a Canadian hand dyer. I think I had heard of them, but obviously had never ordered from them before. and it is called Full Moon Fiber. Can you see their labels there? Full Moon Fiber. And they are in Ontario, Barrie, Ontario. And Barrie is an hour or a little more north of Toronto, for any of you may know Toronto. So I'm going to show you their info. So you see they have a website, fullmoonfiber.ca, and you can find them other places, Instagram and so on. And with it, they sent these little light bulb things. I guess knitters use them more, but it had the cutest little, it has a lobster claw, the cutest little stitch marker. See the little lammy face, quite thick, but very lightweight. So I got this lammy stitch marker, cute. Full Moon Fibers, and it's 2 women, girls. I think they're sisters because they both have the same last name. And here is I ordered 2 the same. I ordered a package of minis. Here is their logo, Full Moon Fibers. This is 80/20 superwash and nylon. 73 yards in a skein, 20 grams each. So 73 is a little smaller than most. There are 6 skeins in here, each one being 20. So this is 120 grams in it. So it's a little more yardage than 73. Usually they're 87. But anyway, I wanted to pull these out so you can have a look at them. I know they look kind of bleak because they're black, but I like black. And I love the colors that are in it. I got one more to get out here. I couldn't get all 6 in one handful. There it is. Or put it here. And this one looks a little more, oh, you know what? That's a very deep black, blue with that color in it. This is more, see, it's a wine color with the pink in it. Black and pink. This one is a really dark green. And this one is a really dark brown. And finally, again, black. So they aren't all black. Interesting. Interesting. So that, I have 2 packages of it. And the reason is, I did not think I could come up with something I would like to make with this, with what would be 400, between 400 and 500 yards. I didn't want to make something small. I thought, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to do 2 skeins of each. I could do 1 of each and then repeat it 1 of each, or I could do 1 of each and then go backwards, mirror image on the other side. That's a thought. I never thought about that till now. But I just decided I wanted something longer, so I bought 2 packages of the same thing. And I'll decide when it comes time to make it whether I'll do double it up as I go, or do all the colors and then repeat all the colors. But that's the one thing I bought. So that's another Canadian dyer I can add to that list. Full Moon Fibers. And I think, yes, I ordered from another dyer in Ontario, and she's away on a week's vacation, so she won't be sending it out till next week, but I'll be able to show it to you maybe at the end of the month, since next week I'm going to be showing you a lot of hand-dyed yarn. So that's my purchase. I've been making just little purchases, and I also made a small purchase from Polka Dot Creek again because I like their minis so much. So that takes care of everything I wanted to cover today, all over the board. But that brings you up to date with everything. I have to finish my Just Feel Festive shawl for 2 weeks from now, and I have to finish my August one for 3 weeks from now. So that's pretty well it. I have, I think, 3 different things on the go, and you know I'm never happy with a whole lot of whips at one time. So I'm going to work the next few days on finishing up one thing and moving on to the next thing, and doing my August project for the flowers. And next Monday, I am participating in a Cowl from Karen Hooley, and she's having a Zoom meetup this Friday to look at the yarn we've chosen. It's a mystery cowl. Once a week for 4 weeks, she drops part of the pattern. And then it has to be done sometime later in September. And next Monday is when we get the first clue. I'm not very happy at doing things in stages, as you know, if you've been around for much time with me, and I will probably not start it next Monday. I want to finish a couple of items before I start the mystery cowl, and then I might start, say, week 2 or even week 3 and work right through. So if you enjoy seeing lots of yarn, and it sounds like you certainly enjoyed seeing all the Canadian yarn, you want to come back next week to see all the yarn I have to show you. And until then, happy hooking.